Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Welcome back to Homeschool Together podcast. Ariel, did you know there's a pandemic on?
I had heard.
There's something happening out in the world.
Yeah. There's something happening outside our house. I don't know. I haven't left in 7 months. So
7 months. I think it's been about 8 months for me.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, today we're going to be talking about homeschooling in the times of COVID, talking about a lot of ideas, ways to improve your life, your mental health, the mental health of your family, working together within this pandemic environment, how you're working from home, how you're feeling like you're isolated in your house. Today we're going to talk about some cool little tips and tricks on how to improve, hopefully, your day-to-day lives with your kids and your homeschooling.
So we just want to thank everyone that's connected with us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, and left us iTunes reviews. We really appreciate everybody. If you want to connect with us, please check the show notes. We love hearing from you, and we love engaging and getting your recommendations as well. We'd love to hear your tips and tricks that you've used during the pandemic.
So Ariel, the first thing that I think a lot of people are realizing is that we're going through this kind of Groundhog Day. Every day is the same. What day is it? I don't know what day it is. Is it even the weekend? I find myself wondering where months go by.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I mean, I feel like it's been kind of like the 7 stages of grief or something, this whole thing, right? I mean, at first, as some of you have heard on the podcast, I work full-time and Matthew's a stay-at-home parent, and I'm working full-time remote right now. So I'm totally screwing up his Quan. And when this first started, it was like, all right, cool. We're home together for a bit. And, I obviously don't like the reason that we're home together, but I do cherish the time that we as a family are home together. This is really great.
Well, yeah, you're home. You come out and you take a break and you get the kids. I don't have to be on for 9 straight hours.
Yeah.
I just saw a meme come across of Rocky, at the end of the fight in the first Rocky, when your spouse comes home at the end of the day, I did it, I made it, I haven't had to actually do that for the last 8 months. It's been kind of nice.
It was weird when I was first home because you kept being, I would walk out of the room and you'd be like, you're upsetting the whole balance of everything, right? and then we kind of settled in. It was like, okay, this is what our new normal is. We created our new normal. We were good with that.
Well, you've got the fishbowl here in the office.
Right. We have glass doors on our office so the baby can smack the doors, can look at me constantly and have a problem with the fact that I'm not holding her. So that's been a little bit challenging, but kind of got used to it. And then it started to wear on us. And then we got to summer. It was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
It's not raining. Yay.
Then it started to wear again. And I just feel like I don't know. I feel like it could be March. It could be September. I don't really know. What month is it? What day is it? Where am I? It feels just like the song that never ends.
Yeah, true.
It will go on and on, my friend.
So
they started singing it. They didn't know what it was.
I don't know.
And now they're still singing it forever just because it's a song that never ends.
So what are some tricks that people can do to get over the fact that every day feels the same? What can they do to kind of liven up their day-to-day?
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk with folks about what we've done.
Yeah.
We have really embraced the seasons. And so that would be our recommendation to you is embrace what is going on outside of your house because...
outside.
Yeah, well, the inside kind of never changes, but that's another tip we have too. So embrace the seasons. Go on your nature walks if you can. Walk around your neighborhood. That's what we've been doing with our kids. And when we walk, we're taking a specific focus on how the landscape's changing. Every day that goes by, what's the weather like today? Is it raining or is it sunny? When the leaves started to turn colors, now they've started to fall. We're really having those discussions with them, and it makes it feel like, okay, time is actually passing.
Yeah, right.
Whereas in our house, things stay the same. And so what we've also done with that is we're embracing the seasons inside. So trying to decorate the house seasonally. So that means that, the girls are our older daughter and you have been doing some great drawings in with construction paper and things. So we can hang up leaves, we can hang up bats for Halloween, or, even if it's homemade decor. It's something to tell us. Our daughter made a banner the other day for her birthday, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And we just made a banner with her name on it and hung it up, even though it's not for a few more weeks. Just to feel like something inside is changing. We've also gotten into all of the seasonal recipes and things. So, it's apple harvest season here in Washington. So we've been just doing all things apple. We made applesauce one day.
Yeah. Pulled off apples from our tree. That's typically what we do.
Yeah, we processed them with our daughter. That was really fun. So trying to kind of live seasonally, more seasonally than we normally would have.
Yeah,
in
and I
our
know
busy lives.
for a lot of North American listeners, leaf season is coming. I'll be pulling a lot of leaves, so
Right, already here.
trees are already starting to change their colors. That type of great stuff. We also go on a lot of walks. We're fortunate here to have a nice little path that kind of walks down the sidewalk and then gets into kind of a frisbee disc golf course.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate about that, but we end up going on a walk and we could go down some back streets that are real quiet, doesn't have a lot of traffic, but it's a great way for us to get outside. Mm-hmm. We go out at lunchtime, get that vitamin D that everybody needs.
Yeah, you and the kids go on some exploratory walks, which is really nice.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So, and then we have 2 little parks that we can walk to. They're about a mile away, both directions. So we can go up the hill or down through the park to get to, a nice little play area. And it's a good excuse to get out. It's a good excuse to get some fresh air. We like to go together and use it as a time to kind of reconnect, kind of talk about what our day's about, talk about what we're going to be talking on the podcast, things of that nature.
Yeah. While our daughter's riding her bike ahead of us, we and the baby's on my back, we get a chance to talk, which is really great. So we've also embraced seasonal crafts. So we talked in a previous podcast about crafts from Michael's and how you can buy those seasonally. So even if you're not big into every little minute holiday that comes up, really celebrate all of those because it helps you to notice the changing of the season. Additionally, I would say, as we do move into the holidays, families, you all have your traditions, and a lot of those traditions involve going someplace that you may or may not be able to go this year. So what we would recommend is find a way to make a new tradition in the spirit of that one. So if you used to go with your family to a cider mill every year, that's the highlight of your fall time together. Maybe make cider at home. Right. Find another way. Maybe watch some videos about how cider is made. Make some fun crafts. Try to find a way to get that spirit. If you always trick or treat or trunk or treat and you can't do that this year, I've seen some great ideas online about having indoor scavenger hunts for candy, and try to make a new tradition or a tradition that's reminiscent of what you would do outside the house. Don't abandon the traditions altogether because you can't go. Because I think it's healthy for all of us to get to do those things that are semi-familiar. And hey, maybe the twist that you put on it this year, you really enjoy it and you end up adopting permanently. We've been doing all kinds of fun things, and some of them I'm like, I would do this again. This was pretty cool. So
yeah, just embracing kind of gets the kids excited about something.
Yeah, because it's monotonous for them too, right? It is the same thing every day for them too. They also can't go play with their friends or go to their clubs and activities and things that they used to do. So if we can do things like that, we tend to get our daughter special drawing books for every season. So it's like 101, how to draw 101 monsters. That's what we got her for Halloween. We'll have 101 Christmas coming up. We had 101 animals for summer. So we try to kind of do things that make it different. I just did a big book order and I got a bunch of Halloween books in, and I just did another order came in the other day. I have Thanksgiving books coming and Christmas books coming. Something new that I can bring out and be like, hey, look, time is passing and it's this new season and we can enjoy all of this.
You made a beautiful wreath for Halloween wreath for our door.
Right. Yeah. We're just trying to, I'm not very crafty, honestly, but I'm trying to embrace something about crafts because it's hands-on, it's no screens, it's time with my kid, It doesn't really matter what it looks like in the end, although that wreath turned out awesome.
That wreath turned out really good.
But
You should put it on Instagram.
it was a really cool wreath, made from the dollar store, by the way. But it doesn't matter how the crafts turn out. What matters is that you're embracing doing them with your kids, and you're decorating your house with things that remind you that the time is going on, so you don't feel like you're living in a time capsule.
What about dinner and a movie? One of
I
the
love
great
dinner and movie. This was like a TBS thing, wasn't it? Remember, wasn't it? It was Paul and Annabelle on TBS. I'm talking about the 1990s.
Wasn't it Dean Cain?
No. It was Paul and Annabelle. There was
Who's Paul and
this
Annabelle?
goofy guy and this other gal.
Oh, that's right.
They were just hosts on TBS, wasn't it? Like,
Yes.
I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. Somebody out there is going to remember this. We're
Dinner
not the
and
only
movie,
ones,
yeah.
right? We're not
They
that
would make
old.
They would make a dinner and they'd have the movie.
Right. They'd make a dinner and then they'd pick a movie and they would make a dinner that somehow was reminiscent of the movie. And so actually we started this when we first moved in together.
Yeah.
And we would pick some movie. Like I think like our first one was like Godfather, when we made a bunch of
Italian
classic
food, yeah.
Italian American food or something to go with it. Right. And so it was just something that was more fun. And we got out of the habit of it, and we've recently revived it, and it's awfully fun. So you choose a movie that you want to watch as a family, and then find all the ways that you can accent around that. So not just dinner, maybe find a couple recipes, to make a meal that would be reminiscent, but also see if you can look up maybe the location that the movie was made, or where it was based, where the movie is based in. Learn about the history of the location, or learn about the true story behind the movie if you're watching something that had a true story, that kind of thing.
Yeah, folding that into the normal education, the normal homeschooling of the kids, I think is a great way and we've done this with the princess studies. Pulling in,
gone over really well with our daughter.
Yeah, pulling in the Disney princess study, and say, for example, Jasmine's a good example of this. We tried a little bit of Middle Eastern food. We tried to make it at home. We watched the movie. We fold in a bunch of travel trips to various areas in the Middle East.
Yeah, I got the Usborne illustrated Arabian Nights tales, so I got the book to go with it. So we read about that. We read about Middle Eastern culture. We read about the original story of Aladdin and where that came from.
And then at the end of the week, we watched the movie.
We made paper dolls of Jasmine. We did a bunch of things. And so I've done that with all the different Disney princesses, and our daughter loves it. We just watched Mulan the other day, and we had Chinese food and watched Mulan. And it was kind of this thing where the thing about dinner and a movie, which is so fun, is it makes an event. It's not just movie night with popcorn. It turns like your whole week. It's like, oh, our whole week is Mulan week, or our whole week is based on whatever movie that we're going to watch.
Or if you don't want to make a whole weekly thing, you can just do it for the one day. It doesn't even have to be, because
whatever makes you and your kids excited about it. Just make it an event, not just normal family movie night.
We used to love going to the movie theater. I think it's something that we love doing that. It was a big thing for us. Even just, I would get my one night a week off, where I'd be able to, you let me go out and, just kind of decompress from watching the kids all week. And I would always go to a movie most of the time. And now I can't do that. Now I can't even get a night off. Like, where am I going to go? Go sit at my Chinese restaurant in my car as I eat my Chinese food?
Yeah.
I can't do anything. Yeah.
So we've done a little bit of this ourselves.
Yeah, but now we can do this at home and bring that kind of thing, and then make it a more grand experience that we can all do together.
Yeah, it definitely enlivens the whole experience. So we highly recommend Dinner and a Movie, TBS style. TBS now made homeschool style.
But also something that you've been doing with the little one is pairing books with movies.
Yeah, that's been super fun. Right now we're reading Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
So we're reading James and the Giant Peach, and then we're going to watch the movie. And so I do try to find books that have movie accompaniments. So we're reading that right now. And then when we get closer to watching the movie, because we're reading just one chapter at a time each night, we're going to be learning about peaches and how those are grown. And we'll be learning about the different animals, the caterpillar and the spider and things. So yeah, just try to take something and turn it into more than it originally was. Right. And it's fun, because then it becomes something that, at least for our daughter, she looks forward to it all week. We actually put it on the calendar. We have a whiteboard calendar, and we write, it's going to be James and the Giant Peach night soon, and she's going to be super excited about that. We might even make a themed dessert, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Like we said last week, we just got takeout and watched Mulan. It wasn't like, you don't have to be an excellent chef.
It wasn't just takeout. It was Safeway takeout.
Oh my gosh, because we just don't. We live in Western Washington where there's no good Americanized Chinese food. So I mean, there's real Chinese food in Seattle, but we don't have any of that here.
No,
so.
yeah, none of that around here.
So yeah, it was pretty crummy American Chinese food.
So taking the kind of the dinner and a movie idea, kind of replacing that theater experience that we always love. What about the home experience? Having an experience from home. And the various places you can go via the information superhighway.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I knew that there were quite a few online offerings for museum tours and just different things. And I had heard about that. But until I researched for the show, I wasn't fully aware of the extent of them. So definitely check out the links in the show notes. There are some amazing things online. NASA has a full list of videos, hands-on experiments by age. We linked to that, a bunch of STEM resources. There's a full 3D tour inside the Louvre and the various exhibits and galleries in the Louvre, which is
and these 3D
amazing.
Tours may require you to hook your computer up to your television. So
I mean, we recommend doing it that way, or if they can play on your phone, do it that way. We have a little adapter that hooks to HDMI from our iPhone, so we hook up our iPhone in this adapter, hooks up to HDMI. If you can put it on the big screen, that just makes it that much more exciting. Other than just having your child sit at a computer screen.
Yeah.
So if you can hook up an iPad or a phone. Yeah, they have a full 3D tour of the Louvre, the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, the entire museum you can do a virtual tour of with the dinosaur bones, all the great stuff.
It's amazing, yeah. And they have one of the Vatican and the Met in New York.
Yeah, oh yeah, they have the Vatican, which, even though we're a secular podcast, just the art in the Vatican is amazing.
Yeah.
And so beautiful. And they have a whole host on Google Arts and Culture, so it includes the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
If you haven't had a chance, go check out, go Google Arts and Culture.
And it's down in the show notes.
Yeah, it's down in the show notes. It's a phenomenal resource of just looking at art. They have a lot of art resources, a lot of cultural resources. I think there's interviews and podcasts, and they have a ton of information.
It's great.
Centered around art, just in general, the art experience. So if you are trying to cover some type of, impressionist paintings or, 18th century, American painters, they have that there, and they have amazing resources. You should really check it out. The Google Art and Culture resource is amazing.
Right. It definitely is. They even have, do you want to take a tour of the Colosseum or the Great Pyramids? Because they have all of that. So, and
then you can also visit some places like natural wonders, for example, like Yosemite or the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, Yellowstone. We have links to all of these in the show notes. There are amazing. I got sidetracked for a while on the Yosemite virtual tour because it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So even if you can't get out, you can still have an experience and you can learn around that experience. You could, read a book about that place, look at it on the map, but you can go and have a tour. Look around at the different art. What's kind of fun about some of these 3D tours is you can actually click on the works of art in the museums and they'll tell you information about the paintings and stuff, which is terrific. It can open up doors. So, if you can't get out to go somewhere, you can go somewhere digitally.
And just as an aside, another one that I like doing is on YouTube. They have these beautiful drone flyovers.
Oh yeah, those are gorgeous.
So if you have a location that you're interested in, or if you are doing an around the world study, there you have these drone flyover videos based on the location. And just, you put the location in, say Hawaii, 8K video flyover. And you'll
Is 8K a thing?
Yeah, it's 8K is a thing.
I thought 4K was a thing.
Well, no, now it's that they've doubled it.
What?
Yeah, no, and I think there's
still living in DVD age. Yeah, we have Blu-rays now, but
it's amazing, yeah. And they
4K,
actually have
8K, can TVs actually show 8K?
I believe it also refers to how large the image is.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm out of my technical
No,
depth here. 8K, maybe a computer thing?
Anyway, search 8K. I don't think they have 16K.
You're geeking on me here, Boozer.
I know. So I end up playing these videos and these beautiful kind of ambient music playing over
great soundtracks.
Unbelievable. So if you need to relax or you have a little bit of, we'll talk a little bit here in a few minutes about quiet time. If you just need a little bit of moments, I love playing these videos, pairing them with, whatever location we're talking about, whether it's, a desert or through Scandinavia or through Ireland or through, Hawaii or
I saw one of Washington, D.C. the other day where they were flying over all the different monuments. And
I actually had a big one that when we were doing a little bit of the Paris, we were doing a Paris study. I think we were reading Eloise. and
No, Madeline.
Madeline. We were reading Madeline, and we wanted to, the older one wanted to look at the Eiffel Tower. So I pulled up this unbelievably beautiful drone flyover around the Eiffel Tower. It was just amazing, and it took like 8 minutes, and we just watched it for 8 minutes, and it had some sound playing over the top of it. It's just a great way to kind of do a virtual tour. And maybe we can talk a little bit about this in maybe a podcast coming forward, but there are VR headsets where you can insert your phone
into
the headset.
Simple ones. I think Google Cardboard is probably the cheapest one.
Google Cardboard would probably be the cheapest one, but some of these YouTube videos are 3D videos.
Yeah.
So as you pan your phone around, you actually pan around the video, and it's a great way to kind of get that immersive experience. Maybe we'll do a little podcast on it coming up.
Yeah, maybe we'll look into that.
Part of our
one thing I would say
part of our tech series.
Yeah, part of our tech series. We've linked in a couple of these tours that you can do, but anything that's outside, anything you're really interested in touring, just go ahead and Google that, because you'll find there's some amazing resources for tours right now, and flyovers and things. So we'll link a few of the ones that we found, but don't let that limit you. There's plenty out there.
Ariel, I love my kids. But sometimes
the way that you said that made me...
there's the dramatic pause. I get that William Shatner dramatic pause. I need a break.
Yeah, everybody needs a break, right? You're
Yes.
on 24/7, and part of the difficulty with all of this is that we're like all kind of, even if you're not actually quarantined, we feel like we're all quarantined together, and you just
I'm stuck in I'm stuck in the prison with the guards are the children.
No.
I'm in a never-ending Milgram
No.
experiment.
No, it's the thing is, it's all day, and it's very constant. There used to be things to break it up. Even on our street, the kids love to play together on our street, and they can't do that. And so now there's this feeling for a lot of parents I know, and we're included, where you're on all day, and they're expecting you to entertain them all day.
Yeah, we've been wondering about
do homeschool all day.
Yeah, like some behavioral, regressions that you may see due to the isolation and not having that interaction.
Right.
We've seen a little bit of that, and we've had to deal with a little bit of the, not interacting with other kids. We had to potentially get a babysitter the other day, and then one of the older kids on the street came over to take, a minute or two to get, acclimated with the younger one.
Right. We were just
and the younger one was
seeing if we could even do that,
staring at her like they were like statues.
I mean, she's
what is this
she's
thing?
16 months old, and for 8 months she hasn't seen anybody outside our family.
For the majority of her life, she has not been outside.
Yeah, and even the idea of having somebody watch her was like totally foreign. So it's really tough, and we know it's tough. You're on all the time. What we wanted to just recommend is something that we've started to do, which is to put together activities, craft boxes. We've been putting together busy boxes for our littlest. Put together something that you can use to have your kids be independent, just for a half hour, just for a little bit, because mommy or daddy just needs a break. And so set yourself up for success by finding those things that you think will really engage your kids and that they can do by themselves, even if it's just for a little bit, because we all only have so much in us to give every day, and sometimes we reach our limits faster than other days. And so give yourself something that you can pull on before you get upset. And I've totally been there, where I'm just like, I just need a minute, and the kids are all over me. It's great to reach for the box before I get upset myself.
Yeah, just being able to entertain them for a few minutes and being able to walk away, step outside, throw the ball for the dog. When you have the two kids kind of coming together, it's kind of I think it's my side of the genes where the noise kind of amplifies with the two.
It's totally you.
Yeah, it's my side of the house.
Not you, but
not
the women
me
in your
directly.
family.
It's up the genetic chain where there's the volume problem. But like when they come together, it feels like the noise amplifies, and not having that silence in your life, having that kind of quiet time, I think is a void that needs to be filled. Or you need to create the void in that silence time. I was lucky enough, right as COVID came, I got to get away for a dadcation.
Right, like
for
the weekend before we all quarantined together. We sent you away for the weekend.
I think it was like the week they put us into shutdown in quarantine, but I already had the thing booked, and I'm not going with anyone, so I'm essentially
it was
isolated.
like a VRBO.
And I don't think I spoke a word for like 48 hours. I think I had one of those, Jared Leto silent retreats where I come back and I'm like, oh my God, there's a pandemic happening. I didn't know about it, right? I really believe in the little bit of silence, the quiet time.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I think I was really tired and I was on the couch. I was reading, a riveting, non-depressing Russian novel.
They're all depression. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert. And I had my headphones in, but I wasn't letting anything play. And it just brought all the noise down, and I just passed out. I don't normally pass out.
Yeah, I was watching the kids this weekend.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I'm a big proponent for silence, and having that quiet time is so necessary. Like, I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, our both of our girls were napping. Our younger in the morning, and then both of them were napping in the afternoon. Our older has basically stopped her afternoon nap. But what we would encourage for you folks that don't have nappers anymore, and what we've done with our daughter, is we still institute an hour of quiet time in the afternoon.
Yeah.
She needs to be quiet. This is partially because the baby is sleeping, and so we really need that quiet for her. But it's also, I think it's really healthy for her to have that downtime where she sits in her room. She'll read, she'll color. If she's tired, she will end up laying down and maybe taking a nap for a few minutes.
Like this week, it's been about last week, it's been about 50-50. She actually takes a nap.
Right.
Yeah.
So we let her know our expectation is that you're in your room and these are the things that you're allowed to do. And she's pretty happy, piling her with a big stack of books, and she's a happy camper.
And also, developing that skill of learning to entertain yourself. Even, we're not I'm not, Daniel Day-Lewis. I've abandoned my child. No, I send you that video. Not. I send you that all the time. You're not abandoning the kid. It is a skill to learn to entertain yourself. And not that we want them to do that for 10 hours a day, but to be able to do that for 40, 50 minutes, an hour a day is a good skill to learn, and also allows them to do a deep dive without having that pressure of the parent around.
Yeah. That
they are free to, make good decisions, make bad decisions, such as putting stickers on their blinds, things like that. But, being able to have that moment where they're free within their own space to do whatever they want, to imagine whatever they want, to read and to color, and not feel like they have to perform or have pressure to please me or something of that nature. That's a good skill, I think, to learn. Yeah,
it's a good skill. For those of you who have a child that's old enough that you can institute some sort of quiet time, we highly recommend it for your sanity, for theirs. It's good for all of us to have some down each day. So yeah, we highly recommend that if you've got one of those kiddos that's, stopped the nap and is still very young, this might not work for you. But if your children are old enough, we highly recommend every day there being an hour, maybe an hour and a half of quiet time. We usually get about an hour and a half in, and it's valuable for all of us.
Yeah, getting that downtime. So what about me time? Ariel, I would love nothing more than to go to an expensive restaurant that we can't afford and eat duck and candles and a glass of wine, but we can't do that.
Yeah. Well, even if we could, it's lost.
Go to the bistro in Arlington.
I mean, we try to get takeout and go out sometimes, but
Thai food is only so romantic.
Yeah, it's true. We don't have a ton of great restaurants. But the
What'd you
biggest
get?
problem,
I got curry again.
Yeah, the biggest problem is we have young children, right?
Yeah.
So it's difficult for us to get out unless we have a babysitter, and that's difficult.
Our friends always make fun of us that a couple of them who don't have any kids are like, "Man, you guys eat fast." I'm like, I have been trained for the last 5 years that I have about fast. 12 and a half minutes to eat my meal. And then we're out of here.
That's right.
We got to get moving.
What we've tried to do, because, and we did this even before COVID, honestly, just because we have young children. We try to do some date nights in, and it's not complicated at all. We basically just feed the children at the normal time that they would eat and put them down a little bit on the early-ish side, not crazy early.
It's a good excuse to have that box of mac and cheese and the chicken nuggets in the freezer. It's a simple meal to go to, get them fed,
something easy.
get them into bed.
Yeah, get them into bed. Usually, like, you'll put them in bed while I'm making us something a little bit nicer. Usually I try to pick something that the kids don't necessarily like or won't appreciate, like we'll make steaks or something that they just, it wouldn't be for them. And we sit down together and we just talk. We play cards. Sometimes when we're done with dinner, we'll do a puzzle. It's not glamorous by any means, but what I would say is make time for your spouse at least once a week, just to have a conversation.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times we'll be sitting around and we'll be trying to talk about something, and then I'll be like, mommy, daddy, and then the little one comes over,
conversation time.
Starts shaking the empty snack container in your face, or she climbs up on the chair, scoots it and starts playing with the ice maker. There's always an interruption coming. And since we're all packed in together, we're all sitting around each other, it's very hard to get, not only just, as we talked about, a little bit of quiet time for yourself, but quiet time with your spouse. And I think that's a really important thing, having us kind of reconnect, because, we wake up, boom, the kids are there. We're on the clock. Ariel punches her clock. She's on. She goes into work. She's punching her clock. I'm watching the kids. And there's always something going on. And it, sometimes we talk about it, a whole day will go by and it doesn't even feel like I had any meaningful conversation other than, oh yeah, go get the kid, or I'll make lunch, or, I'll do this thing.
You're teaching, but as far as meaningful conversation between ourselves, we were joking before we started recording. We have this 30-second rule where if things are crazy, one of us will just say 30 seconds and we come together and we hug. We take our 30 seconds, and then the children realize that we're hugging. And so then they will pile on. But that first 30 seconds, that's all ours. And it's just like, it's that small moment of connection amid what is sometimes chaos. So look for those small moments. Try to, pull out a puzzle. Do something that's not, we do watch shows together sometimes, but something
put the phones
just
away.
Talk.
Yeah, put the phones away, turn the TV off.
Yeah, play cards, do something.
Pour a glass of wine, play some cards, or do a puzzle together and just talk about something. Yeah. As much as it is important for us to help our kids through this pandemic, by creating, fun activities and not letting them lose connection with the world around them, it's important for yourself to have a little bit of free time to do what you want to do, whether that's taking a bath, that's something you like to do, reading depressing Russian novels. But also, separate, but also then together. And why I think that's important is that if you're not having a good mental health day or a good mental health month, it's going to affect how you act around your family and your kids. And it's going to...
You have to take care of yourself.
You have to take care of yourself. And it's not selfish to say, hey, mommy or daddy needs a little bit of time, or mommy and daddy together need a little bit of time. It is going to lead to a better experience for your kids, because you'll feel like, okay, my cup is full here. And then I can then go ahead and give my all to my kids the next day. There's some days where you're feeling down or you're dragging. You may think, okay, maybe I just need a little recharge. Maybe mom needs to sleep in one day. You just need that little bit of recharge, and then boom, you're back on your A game. You're back to 100%, and your kids will benefit from that. So, I think the whole goal of this podcast is to really just sit here and say, we're in a really tough time. We can either let it bring us down, or we can take the stoic mentality and power through it and be strong, fix the things that we need to fix, understanding the things that we can't control, that are outside of our control, and fix the things that we can control. And these are the things we can do. We can improve the lives of our children. We can improve our own life, and we can improve the relationship that we have, with our spouse, our partner, whatever. These are the important relationships. The things that are closest to us are the most important things that we have in our lives. And to get through this type of pandemic, enriching those things will lead, I think, to a more fruitful experience and a more fruitful time period.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the one thing is amongst all of this, it's hard for everyone, even when we don't show it. And we say that to our kids, Mom, this is hard for mommy too, right? Or this is hard for daddy. We are having a difficult time with this. One thing is we try, and I'm not always capable of it, but we try to be extra patient, especially with each other. And we try to look out for one another. That self-care part is really important. So that quiet time for you to read or to write,
Yeah.
for me to read or paint or watch a movie with a big bowl of ice cream. Those are the things that are important that help us feel calm and nourish the things that are important to us. But we have to look out for each other too.
Yeah.
Right. So we try at least twice a week to do something for ourselves. And I'm looking out for you and you're looking out for me.
Yeah, right.
That, hey, gosh, you've been running around all day. I'm going to take the kids. You go read, go take a little time. Do you want to do some writing? Go write or go watch a movie that's something you want to watch, right? And we're looking out for each other in that way too, because it can really feel like a rat race every day.
Yeah, like this weekend was a good example, right? You came out and you were like, we got to get out of this house, even if we're just going to drive around. And I said, hey, let's have a normal day.
Semi-normal.
As normal as it can be. We went out and had lunch.
Yep.
We got there early, so nobody
there
else was
nobody
there.
there. It was nice.
We were able to eat like a family, and we kind of laughed. That might have been one of the first times our 16-month-old was outside eating at a restaurant, only a handful of times. It's shocking how much she's missed. And so it was important for her to kind of get that experience. And then we went to the store, we went to Target, and then we went to Hagen, and we went home and we felt recharged. Like, oh my gosh.
It was so small, just going
such
to
a
the
small
store,
little piece of normalcy.
Even though, you're masked and it's still different.
Yeah.
It's still, our child was still excited to see all the Halloween stuff at the store. And there were still some exciting things. But yeah, you have to look for moments to nourish yourself, and moments when something's not working. And then we creatively work together to brainstorm what we can do. When we had this terrible smoke with wildfires about a month ago, and I was going absolutely crazy in the house, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and it was just terrible. And you were really great during that time, just trying to keep, we can't control that, right? The sky everywhere, the air is filled with smoke. What can we do inside? Can we run the fans? We can turn the air conditioning on. We can make it nice and cool so that it feels crisp in the house. And you were really looking out for me then. And so recognizing when you're having a problem, and then trying to help your partner through that problem, that's just terrific. So, everyone just take care of yourselves. These are just our ideas. We would love to hear about your tips and tricks and COVID coping.
Yeah, hop over to the
mechanisms.
the Facebook group and we'll make a little thread, and we'll see what other people are doing as well. Maybe you can get some ideas for your own home. We always like to end the show on what we're into this week. Obviously, the coolest thing in the world is to build your own place. We were lucky and did that to our house.
Yeah.
Our daughter this week has been building about 500 homes using pillows.
Right, pillow forts.
Pillow forts has been the thing this week.
It's the thing.
She
I love how that doesn't go out of style. Kids were probably building pillow forts in the 1800s, right? Pillow forts is just it's a thing.
I know I'm listening. I'm listening to the Tides of History. It's a great podcast if you haven't had a chance. He's talking about prehistory men in Europe and stuff. And I think they were building pillow forts back then.
Pillow forts is just, it's a timeless activity.
Timeless activity.
I don't even think she understands when we say the word fort. I'm not really sure if she even gets that.
No, she doesn't. She just
thinks it's like a pillow house.
Well, she builds pillow houses. So she's been building pillow houses. And this is one of those deep play activities that I love to see, because it's STEM, it's imaginative, it's fantasy world, it's creative, and also it's something that her sister's really into right now too as well. So the two of them together, it's something fun for them to play. Now, it goes pear-shaped very fast, especially when the little one starts playing Godzilla and starts tearing everything down. We do have to separate and cool the tempers here and there. But it's been just really nice for her to, take a couple kitchen table chairs, put a giant blanket over the top, take all the pillows, not just some of the pillows, all the pillows.
Yeah, every couch in the house is pillowless.
Every couch is naked every day. But having that kind of imaginative space, and who knows if this is some coping mechanism or something like that, or if it's just a normal child thing.
She's 5.
She wants to build her own space, and really enjoying that. And she's been building more elaborate forts, and she's having trouble with the balancing of the pillow. It always falls over. Or the pillows she's not making them and angling them. So it's a good moment for me to teach her a little bit about the physics of handling, weight and angles and stuff. So you can get a little bit of STEM in there. So you can show her how to buttress things so that they don't fall down. And she goes, oh, okay, that's great. That's how I can do it. Now I'm starting to see her think about how she's constructing things. So it's a great way for her imagination and her creativity to kind of run wild. And naturally, she'll bring her sleeping bag down, and then all she wants to do is sleep inside of her house. She doesn't actually want to play. She just wants to sleep in her pillow fort.
It's great. We've encouraged her sometimes, like, oh, maybe it's a store now, or, maybe it's a cave, or so. I mean, some of the most classic things can be the most fun, I think, is what that says.
The cheapest toy on the planet is to build a pillow fort.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get some blankets, get some pillows, make something hygge, right? Very cozy. And we've caught her reading inside her little pillow forts, and so it's a fun thing, especially as we're getting into indoor activities. It's kinetic, it keeps them moving. Yeah. She's constantly having to rearrange it, so yes, it's very valuable. Yeah, and
it's a great way for her to interact with her sister. For most of the time they've been playing a little bit with the little people, but this has been one of the first things where I've seen them really beginning to play together, and also the little one is able to watch the bigger one and how to learn how to play. And so that's been a good thing for me to watch and enjoy. And, it goes right in with a little bit of me time. I tell you what, when you got two little kids playing pillow forts, I can go on the opposite side of the room and read my book and put my headphones on or listen to a podcast or something.
Yeah, we put audiobooks on for them before too, stories while she's doing the pillow forts, and they're endlessly entertained with a pile of pillows and blankets and a couple of chairs. So.
Yeah, so this week, grab all the pillows. Tell your kid to make a pillow fort, and why don't you go have a little dry martini in the back corner?
No, we're not recommending that.
No, we're not recommending drinking too much.
We're not recommending any drinking.
If they want to have a beer, make sure it's at least afternoon. Not afternoon, but afternoon.
No, don't take Matthew's advice. We're not recommending that. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!